The night everything changed. A story of reluctant trust and betrayal. I'd spent 15 years perfecting the art of saying no. No to parties, no to clubs, no to the spontaneous adventures that everyone else seemed to crave. My apartment was my fortress, but Jenna wouldn't let me hide anymore. She was 10 years younger, vibrant in a way that made me feel ancient. Every week at work, she'd lean against my desk with that infectious smile, begging me to come out. I always refused, but she was relentless, and I was tired, so I said yes.
The buildings, they're bending onward!
Pause. 1 second. Moment of surrender.
No, this isn't real!
That decision almost cost me everything. The club was chaos. Sound in bodies and strobes, fragmenting reality into 1,000 pieces. I immediately regretted being there. Jenna squeezed my hand and pulled me into the crowd, disappearing with Mira to talk to some guy I'd never met. I stood alone, counting exits, waiting for the night to end. Then they returned, smiling. "He bought us drinks," Jenna said, handing me a glass. I should have questioned it. Every instinct, every part of me that had said no for 15 years should have screamed. But she was my friend. I trusted her, so I drank. The first 2 drinks went down smooth. The alcohol warmed my chest, and for a moment, maybe, this night wouldn't be a waste. Then came the 3rd drink. Pause. 2 seconds. Building dread. The world started to feel wrong. Not drunk wrong. Not spinning or slurring. I was functioning perfectly. But deep in my nervous system, something was screaming that something was profoundly, catastrophically off. A wave of dread crashed over me so violently it felt physical. My heart rate exploded. My skin crawled with inexplicable terror. We need to leave. Now. The thought cut through everything like a blade. Primal. Absolute. I grabbed Jenna's arm. "We're going. Now." She tried to protest, but something in my voice, something she heard underneath the words, made her stop. We collected Mira and pushed through the crowd toward the exit. What happened next exists only in fragments. I was in my car. I don't remember getting the keys or how I got from the club to my driver's seat. I just remember driving. Jenna and Mira were in the car. We were going to Mira's apartment. That's where we'd agreed to go. I pulled up outside her building. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely grip the wheel. Mira and Jenna got out. I sat there trying to breathe, trying to understand why my body was convinced I was in mortal danger. Then Mira said something, or Jenna did. The exact words are lost to whatever was in that drink, but the meaning cut through the fog like lightning. "The drinks weren't meant for you." Pause. 2 seconds. Horror crystallizing. I went very still. The pieces rearranged themselves in my mind. The stranger, the drinks, Jenna passing hers to me. Not generosity, not kindness. She'd handed me the drink that was meant for someone else because, oh God, the realization hit me like a physical blow. My survival instinct, the thing that had been screaming at me all night, suddenly made perfect sense. My body had known. It had detected the threat before my conscious mind could comprehend it. Without thought, without consideration, I slammed the car into drive.
Move.
The tires screeched as I
Quiet.
sped away.
Follow me.
My hands shook on the
Did you see
steering wheel.
anyone?
My vision tunneled.
No.
All I
Let's
could
go.
think was get away, get away, get away. I drove through St. Petersburg in a daze, the drug making everything feel dreamlike and distant. Streets shifted, traffic lights seemed to pulse.
low.
Reality had become
fast.
untethered. Pause 1.5 seconds, building tension. At a red light downtown, I finally began to process what had almost happened. That's when I saw them, in my peripheral vision. 2 men. They materialized beside my car like predators who'd sensed wounded prey. One of them grabbed my door handle and yanked. My doors were locked. They should have been locked, but somehow the door opened. Survival instinct overrides everything. It overrides thought, caution, logic. It overrides everything except staying alive. I floored the gas. The car lurched forward. Tires spun. There was a sound, a terrible, sharp sound of plastic tearing as someone's grip was torn away from my door handle. Someone was holding onto it when I accelerated. My heart pounded so hard I thought my ribs would shatter. I drove for miles, checking my mirrors obsessively, convinced they'd appear in my window again. Convinced that whoever these men were, they'd find me. They'd finish what they started. But they didn't come back. Eventually, I made it home. The rest of that night is shaking hands in the bathroom floor. Nightmares that felt more real than reality. The certainty that I'd narrowly escaped something unspeakable. When the sun rose, I sat in my driveway and examined my car.
Thanks.
The plastic casing on my door handle was completely ripped off.
Whoa.
Someone had been holding onto it when I drove away. That day, I called Jenna. My voice